The weird thing about all of this is that I've been squatting wide stance, low bar for probably a month or so now, quite seriously. Most of my sessions seem to be that. And now when I go to high bar, deep squats, my groin feels a little bit off. And so today I decided not to warm up with wide because that's kind of been already sorted out in my mind. If I do wide stance squats first, then everything feels good. But if I go straight into high bar, deep squats, ATG squats, my groin feels a little off, and it kind of like almost hurts, like a sharp groin type of sensation. So today I kind of put up with it, warmed up, went up to 180, hit that for a single, and then I dropped back down and did wide stance squats. Now, as soon as I went to wide, felt amazing. So trying to work out what's going on with that. It's probably just keeping it simple. You've done more wide, so you're going to be more comfortable wide now. Really, really interesting. And so now when I squat ATG, narrow stance squats, it's almost like my adductors have gotten used to and pre-fatigued wide. And now when I go narrow, it's almost like a different sensation. Interesting. Yeah, really interesting. And so I think moving forward, I need to do a bit of both. Like I need to kind of level it out somehow. Now, obviously, you can't push everything at the same time. That's kind of, just the way it is. If I do huge volume on a Monday with, wide stance squats and I take it to like what I did the other day, 10 sets of 5. Now, this is not maximum sets of 5, but, a lot of volume to try to get comfortable in that wide stance. And then after that, then everything kind of, like I don't feel weak, but I do feel like the groin's upset. But the interesting thing about that is when I go back to wide, it feels okay. Narrow feels crappy. Interesting stuff, man. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to work it all out. I don't quite, understand it 100%. But in the whole playing around today, I decided to do some split squats as well. And when I do split squats, that groin really gets upset. Really gets upset. So that's another interesting thing. So you do a bunch of these things and you kind of put it all on the same map and you're trying to work out what's driving what. And so narrow stance squats, split stance squats piss the groin off. Wide stance doesn't. If somebody was, asking me this experience and I had never experienced, I would have said the opposite would be true. The wide stance would be taxing the hell out of everything groin. Every adductor would be pissed off wide. For some reason, it's not the case. The narrow is the case. So I don't quite understand it, but I will work on it. I think introducing some sort of warm-up split squat or wide stance initially just to warm it all up is the way to go. Now, this issue is not really a major issue because, like I said, if I go wide and I warm up with a bunch of sets, fantastic. Everything feels good. But just going ATG like I've done for years, straight away, tends to piss it off a little bit, and it doesn't make intuitive sense to me. But I want to say that all of these calf raises that I'm doing, and I am doing a lot of calf raises, man. Like I'm doing a lot of calf raises. I was telling my missus the other day, she was in the gym with me in the garage. We were kind of working out and bouncing ideas, and I'm like, man, I'm doing like 350 minimum. So like a minimum, I'm doing 5 sets of 70 at the moment. Today I did 10 sets of 70. That's a lot of calf raises. And I must say, man, they're growing. They are growing. And as they've grown, I have felt more and more comfortable in flat shoes ATG. So if you're wondering for yourself, my God, is there a way to really improve effectively your dorsiflexion? I think calf raises is a great option. When you stretch tissue that is tight, yeah, sure, you can make changes. But is that going to last? Things are tight for a reason. I've kind of always believed that. And if it's tight, it's probably tight because it's weak or it's atrophied in some way or it's protecting some sort of weakness or the fascia around that musculature has tightened up to protect said tissue. The muscles are tight, weak, very high risk of tearing. The fascia around it tightens up, you lose mobility, you lose flexibility, and then you go, okay, let me stretch it out. when you go into these stretching routines, what you're actually doing, you're stretching a lot of the times the fascia. Now, the fascia is your defensive mechanism. That's cool. You can stretch it. But now you've removed the defensive mechanism of the body, and what's going to happen, man? You're going to start to strain it. Now, linking all that back to what I'm doing with my adductors, yeah, I'm stretching it a lot. So maybe the fascia is now being kind of pushed to the max. I've stretched the fascia, and now I'm just battling with these muscles underneath, and they're getting pissed off and maybe even strained. So this is where static stretching is a negative, in my opinion. What I should have done, and like what I did with the calves, I'm doing like damn near 500 almost every day calf raises. Calf raises have now let go. I feel like I have more dorsiflexion. ATG squats feel better in terms of the ankles. Now the adductors are pissed off because I'm stretching them. Now in recent times I've started stretching them in a kind of active manner. I'm not really just sitting there in the static, but I spent damn weeks hardcore cranking that split machine. And now that I think about it, all I've really done with that is I've stretched the hell out of the fascia, and now the muscles are on their own and they're getting pissed off. Interesting stuff, isn't it? This whole stretching thing is something that I've battled over the years, but I feel like what I'm saying now makes most sense. Strengthen the damn thing. And I'm not saying you're going to the good girl machine. No, man. Strengthen it through like a stretching manner, right? Like, so do splits. Do splits, but like stand on your 2 feet trying to do splits, because that's going to involve you contracting that tissue as well. It's not just sitting there using an external device like a split machine and just cranking it against your poor fascia. Appreciate you guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.